I'm pretty sure the tradition of giving presents, let's say a birthday or a Christmas time, even prior to what they say is Christ's birthday, is presents was something that there's a difference between presents, PRESCENCE, I think it is, or presents, PRE, pres, CSENSE. Anyway, uh, compared to PRESCENTS, is that somebody being there, and if they weren't there, they would send a present. So they would either be present or they would send a present. Maybe that was some sort of wording, or well, it wouldn't be because that would be English language, but still it could mean, it might have been the same thing in some other language, that they would send a present. I couldn't be there, so here's maybe to a pharaoh or something. Oh, I couldn't be there, so I sent this golden falcon, that all these people will carry to you. Maybe that's where it originated from. I don't know. Word caveman. Well, I was actually down clam hunting and all these pearls, so I put them on a necklace and I sent them to you, said the Neanderthal letter. Anyway, I'm thinking that's where the origination of presents. So I mean, would people rather have somebody a present, PRESENT, than have somebody there, present? Would they rather have a present, or would they rather have that person be present? I know a lot of times now it's like, oh yeah, we're all here and here's a present. But I quit because of that. I quit, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, I think it was probably close to 40 years ago, quit celebrating, anything. I told my parents that, hey, I don't want nothing. I think it's all about, it's not about presents. It's about presents instead of presents. I know it sounds the same, but so it's like I said, I don't want anything. And I actually get angry now when they try to give me something, even just something. Oh, this is, it's like, anyway. So I was just, would you rather have a present or have somebody present? Well, if your grandfather was here with us still, he would have given you this, and so it's an old, who knows, an old, whatever. Here you go. He would have wanted you to have this, or your grandmother would have wanted you to have this dress. It's a present. Oh, it's whether they like it or not, I don't know. And in the moment, do you like it? There's a lot of different things of people, like say somebody that's all social, say a girl that's all social, and they give her a grandmother's old dress, or for some reason, whether for whatever reason the dress was, or whatever it held to the grandmother, and then they give it to the granddaughter, and she's like, well, it's not really the fashion of the time, and it's like, oh, she, I don't know if she acts like her, or she's just they walk, whatever attitude it was taken. There's some people who say, oh, because they had a relationship with, and then there was others that they wouldn't have had a relationship with, but maybe they was supposed to, but they were so caught up, how you are before you go to school, and then you have to socialize. Well, maybe people were social before school. Maybe they had those kind of kids where they took them out, and they took them to the playground and they let them socialize with the kids. I never really had any social anything until I started like preschool, and then all they did was, the teachers and people there at the work there were raping, child molesting, and all basically the females of that place. And so that was like a bad experience. And then it's like school just ended up being a freaking, it was a bad experience. It's just like, wow, this is, you can't learn it. You can't learn in it. But anyway, back to presence and presence. So the later on, this girl, this is all social because she went to school and she had to socialize, and she tried to keep up with all the fads and never and put off, thought the grandmother's dress, she locked it away. And then one day, maybe she had a bad social experience, and then she started reflecting on her life and whatever, and then realized that she'd never really known her grandmother and wished she had. And then she maybe, I don't know, maybe she cried over not ever really socializing with her grandmother or whatever. And then she realized that dress was a better present than she had anticipated. And then they turn into a freaking nut job. It's all about, family isn't always that great for whoever. There's people breed, and they're not the best of people that think, well, I should have. They're breeding, but they're not in their moment. It's just because they think, oh, sex is so great, and so they just do it, and then what they end up with has nothing to do with who they made. Has nothing to because the DNA could make them like this, that, and the other, depending on the moment and all the other things that arouse the thought that creates them through the different reasons DNA is picked to make a certain person a certain way. So anyway, they can reflect positively or negatively. So sometimes maybe a person thinks, well, I best not go, but here's a present. Not necessarily people are going to send a present. People that ain't got money. And maybe they go there and maybe their presence is more welcome than something they could buy because maybe they're a real joy to be around, which, just an explanation of presence and presents. So next time you're handing out presents and the people, maybe they're psychologically not there or physically not, I don't mean they're out of their mind, but a lot of times they're thinking about something else besides being there. Their presence, even though they're going through the motion, they're not there. So as somebody that has parents that are there, but they're getting presents from them, but they're not emotionally or mentally there. They're just going through the motion. And a lot of people know that. And a lot of people are there and thinking, well, here's something, and they weren't thinking. It doesn't matter, think about it. A lot of times you don't get something that you necessarily want, like the girl with the dress. She didn't want her grandmother's dress, but then later on in life, it was like, oh yeah, okay, my grandmother, I never really thought about her, or maybe I should have, and maybe, whatever. I'm just saying the difference between somebody being there and a gift, and the different ways of being there if they weren't there, and over time and age and how it's traditionalized. Anyway,